Hello and welcome to this Tuesday's edition of WMC Daily, where the temperature here in Kerkrade is expected to hit a sweltering 39 degrees later on today. We're staying well in the shade, trying to keep as cool as possible. It has been difficult though, because the standard of competition that we've had over the weekend has really got the temperatures rising here on stage. We had the fanfare divisions, third and second titles contested for, as well as the wind band first division, and it was a thrilling competition with the top three being separated by less than half of 1 point. Just incredible stuff. Here's some of the highlights from the weekend. Just fantastic stuff from our fanfare and wind bands this weekend, and our congratulations to Harmony San Cecilia in the wind band first division. The fanfare divisions were won on the second division by CMV Beatrix Duzum, and in the third division by Koninklijke Fanfare Kessenich, and that's easy for me to say. Next up on WMC Daily, we have our weekly roundup with the artistic manager of the WMC, Björn Bus, and we spoke to him about the retrospective of last week's concerts, this weekend's competitions, and what we have coming up this week. Björn, good to catch up with you again, 1 week on from our last conversation. How's your last week been?
Oh, it's great, it's great. Very intense, of course. I mean, we're working with the complete team whole week, every day, maybe 13 hours to get everything going, but it was an incredible week. I mean, we had some fantastic musical things happening here in Kerkrade.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, last time we spoke, we previewed some of the concerts from last week, but let's just start off with the Banda Municipal de Madrid. Oh my goodness,
yeah,
they were
great.
incredible.
Yeah, they were incredible. I mean, it is, as I told you last week, it is one of the best professional wind bands in Madrid. And they're really special because of their sound, the typical Spanish way how the wind band sounds, and I think everybody in the audience could experience that, especially in the second half of the program with their zarzuelas and pasodoble.
Yeah, it was incredible. And a special word for Arno Peters, who gave the world premiere of the clarinet concerto by Johann de Meij. It was something very, very special.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, and that's what WMC is also capable of, to make this kind of world premieres happen in this stage.
Yeah, and then we move on to Tuesday with the Harmony San Michael Thorn with the incredible, absolutely incredible Califax Reed Quintet. How did you get these guys together?
Well, the ensemble is already a few years old,
Yes,
of course, but it's really a top ensemble. I mean, in this combination of reed instruments, this quintet, it's not a usual combination, so they travel all over the world.
Correct.
And it was just a matter, I mean, they are from the Netherlands, but it's just a matter to get them from the time period, get them here, between all the touring to America and to Asia. So yeah, it was great. And the other thing is they really want to invest in this combination with wind music and with amateur players. They want to do that, to have this connection. So the piece of Johann, Un Momento Dado,
which was stunning.
A really great piece where you have this concerto grosso idea in constantly changing between the big wind ensemble and the quintet and all those theater moments where they walk into the stage and then the public. It was great experience.
I mean, the piece was great, but what struck me was just how tight these guys were together. I've never heard Reed playing as an ensemble as tight or as professional as that ever.
Yeah,
in my life.
They
were stunning.
Yeah, that's a chamber music aspect that they have developed through the years, and yeah, it sounds really as one in all his perfection. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, stunning. So if anybody's not watched this, they need to watch.
They need to watch it back. Absolutely,
absolutely incredible. And then on Thursday we have Ed de Boer's new premiere, the ballet Bells of Paradise, which was part of the Wind and Voice fusion.
Wind and Dance.
My apologies. The Wind and Dance fusion, which was just an incredible concert.
Yeah, that was a really interesting concert because we wanted to do something with the dance scene. So having this fusion between wind music and several dance aspects, the classical dance, the ballet, before the break, and then we had that urban dance combination,
which was fantastic.
Again with the Califax Quintet
guys,
and a great percussion player, Dominique Vleeshouwers from the Netherlands, and a spoken word artist. So that was really the second half was really a fusion of a lot of multidisciplinary styles. It was really great.
And visually, probably the most exciting thing we'd seen at WMC so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were really professionals in staging everything and thinking about lighting and everything else.
Yes.
So that was great.
Yeah, it was stunning. We loved it. And then we're on to competition weekend.
Oh yeah,
again.
yeah.
So let's start off with the percussion ensembles, because we started with these on Friday. These guys are just incredible.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, the percussion ensembles always have been a section who were very creative and innovative. Competition-wise, I mean, they always attached theater aspects to enhance the musical message they want to bring. And this was the first time we had them in the Rhoda Hall, because normally the percussion ensembles only play here in the theater.
Yeah.
And this is the first time we added this top division, this concert division for them, for only the best percussion ensembles.
Yeah.
And give them the opportunity to play their program in the Rhoda Hall, where they have all the opportunities with staging and everything. So I think it took out really well, and we had some really interesting performances. I talked with the adjudicators, Martin Grubinger, one of the world famous percussion players, were in the jury, and Simona Rebello, and well, they all said, well, this is really incredible high level, on world level, what we are doing in Kerkrade, just with this percussion ensemble idea.
Yeah, and the nice thing is, because there's no limits attached to it, then there's no limits on creativity.
Yeah, but that's the whole line we try to achieve with the concert division in general. So you will have this aspect again this weekend with the fanfare orchestras, and the same with the wind bands weekend after. So we stopped with telling them which test piece they have to play. Just think about your own program and be creative and innovative on a high level.
Yes, yeah. Well, we thoroughly enjoyed the percussion. It was just stunning for all of us. But it wasn't the only contest we had this weekend. No. We had the second and third division of the fanfare, which the number of bands was down.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I still enjoyed every performance of them.
Yeah, fanfare band is an aspect that is, of course, it's a division that is mainly bands from a tradition from the Netherlands, Belgium, and a little bit of Luxembourg. So that's the only area in the world where we have this kind of ensembles. So they are with less normally than the wind bands.
Yeah.
And now, of course, with all this COVID pandemic problems that we had in the last years, especially the lower divisions, really had some problems getting enough people and enough bands to come to Kerkrade.
Exactly.
But we will see the opposite in the first division this coming weekend, where we have 14 bands coming. So that has to do, I mean, they're more ambitious maybe in the first division to go again to a contest, and they need that goal after the pandemic, to something to work on.
Yes.
And for the lower divisions, it's just, I think now mainly the focus is on keeping everything together.
Yeah. And of course we had the wind band first division.
Yeah, great.
What a contest that was, split over Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
11 bands in total, and the three top bands, they all tied their test piece score on 93.33, and their final scores were less than half of 1 point apart. It was that close.
It was really close. That can happen, of course. That's the, if you have an adjudication system like we have, then that this can happen. I mean, but the most interesting thing in this wind band is that you see wind bands from very different wind band cultures. Wind bands from Spain with 120 people, with 30 clarinets and cello and basses, to really smaller wind ensembles from Sweden, for example, with only 45 or 50 people on stage. And they all play the same test piece. So it's really interesting to hear all these kind of differences in sound, in color.
Yes.
And that's what makes the wind band world in general a very interesting scene.
Yeah. And what impressed me with these guys was not only the test piece playing, which was top, very, very good, but their own choice selections and the breadth of style, the breadth of color, the sheer excitement and emotion that these guys can. What a sound they make.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had also some young groups, young orchestras. There were some project groups like the National Youth Wind Orchestra of Sweden, the National Youth Wind Orchestra of Switzerland. Yeah, they were really eager.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
for them, I mean, the experience to be here, that's the most important thing for them.
Yeah.
It's not just about winning or getting in the top 3. It's about the whole trip to coming to Kerkrade, to be part of this festival, to go on the marketplace when you're ready. And yeah, this whole experience is a great thing.
Yeah. Hervé, the conductor of the wind orchestra from Switzerland, was telling me that he had to calm his players down during this week because they were so excited about coming here.
Yeah.
But what a performance they put on, and John Mackey's Dark Wine Sea piece, just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, we heard some great pieces and some really high level sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, and then outside, of course, we had the brand new Copacabana.
Yeah, that was great.
Tell us a little bit about this.
That was also, it's a really interesting competition because it is. I told you last week, it is a competition for bands, just entertaining the public.
Yes.
And doing a competition on the marketplace with 8 bands, completely different from style. We had some bands playing jazz, funk, pop, but also folk music, German folk music. So it was a little bit difficult for the adjudicators, but they had 2 aspects. I mean, the first is, of course, how can they communicate with the public? That's the first aspect, and the second aspect is how do they play?
Yes.
Is it a bit of quality? Now we had 8 bands who had really good quality. So that was also very short at the end. The top 3 were very near to each other. But we had a winner from the south of Germany, who not only won, of course, the ticket, the checks, the money check, but also what they really encouraged to sign in for this competition is, of course, the ticket to Woodstock der Blasmusik, the festival in Austria, where they can be one of the headliners next year.
Fantastic. What a prize.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week, Björn, we've got the climax of the International Conductors Competition. We started off with 24 entrants. We had the semi-final yesterday, which was 6, and we've now got our 3 finalists who we're going to be profiling in tomorrow's show ahead of the live stream final tomorrow night. How has this competition been for you?
Yeah, great. I mean, we selected 24 candidates out of 40. So we had 40 a few months ago.
Yeah.
We selected 24 from 10 different countries. And it was a race. I mean, in that they started last week with the professional wind ensemble Helicon, and then at day 1 we had to select 12. The adjudication team had to select 12 for the next day, for the second round. That 12 conducted the Royal Band of the Belgian Air Force, which was a great band, a professional band. And they had a little bit more time in the second round. They could rehearse a little bit more, and give a presentation. And then the adjudication team selected the 6 that were performing yesterday with the Marine Band of the Netherlands Navy. And it is great. I mean, for them, of course, it is a bit, if you're not going to the next round, I mean, it could be a very short race, of course, but that's how a competition of conductors is built up. And well, we see some very interesting candidates being selected now. We have the second adjudication team started yesterday, who selected the 3 candidates for the finals, who will then perform now Wednesday, their final concert with the Marine Band. So very exciting. Incredible.
What do the jury look out for in a conducting competition?
Yeah, you know, I mean, adjudicating conductors is a very complex thing. I mean, and very subjective because, I mean, there's so many ways to conduct. You can't say, okay, there's only one way to conduct. So you have several views on conducting around the world. So if we bring in adjudicators, that's the reason we bring in 6 adjudicators, so 3 for the first 2 rounds, and then another 3 who completely start from the beginning. Fresh eyes for the last 2 rounds. Well, they look at of course, all the aspects that the conductor needs to communicate, especially with a professional band.
Sure.
Because that's, of course, especially this last 2 rounds, this is an aspect that is really important. Are you able to rehearse very efficiently? Are you able to show whatever you want without talking too much? Do you have all that communicative aspects, that skills, and do you really know your score and what you want with the music? You have a very clear interpretation on the compositions you have to do.
Yeah. So for Wednesday night on the final, what is the format, Björn?
Yeah, the format is that, of course, the conductors work today. The finalists work today with the Marine Band for the last time. They will rehearse their final piece, final composition for 1 hour.
Yes.
So that will be adjudicated, and then we go to the concert, to the second half of this last round.
Yes.
And the concert, they have to perform in the Rode Hall with the Marine Band that final composition. So we have 3 compositions: Danceries van Kenneth Hesketh, Rebro van Salvador Brotons, and we have Romaniana van Joe Absil. So that's really, it's hard. And they have to put it all together on that evening, and then the adjudicators will go in the second half to decide who will win the gold, the silver, and the bronze baton.
Yeah.
And in the second half, the Marine Band will play under leadership of their chief conductor, Major Argentine, their own program in the meanwhile.
Fantastic. 3 fantastic scores that we've got to look forward to on Wednesday. It's going to be a tough job for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It is really high level, and especially with this band. I mean, this is one of the best professional military bands we have in the Netherlands. Really high level. So I mean, for me myself, I had that experience in 2005 and 2009. So 13 years ago, I was finalist with the Marine Band in the Rode Hall. So I know the feeling and the tension they will have at that age. I mean, it's really high pressure work.
Was it very nerve-wracking for you, Björn?
It is. It was nerve-wracking. Absolutely. So I can feel what they feel.
You share their pain.
I share their pain, absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, we're really looking forward to this on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we have the incredible Erik Vloermans with Ravelli Brass. Tell us a little bit about Erik, because
Erik
is just a phenomenon.
He's a phenomenon. He's a really special trumpet player who you can't, he doesn't fit in a box. You can't tell it. I mean, some people say he's a jazz trumpet player, but he is stylistically going from jazz to classical to everything. He's a magician on the trumpet. So he developed his own show with the Ravelli Brass Ensemble. So that's a professional brass ensemble of brass players of the symphony orchestras of the north of the Netherlands. And they do a show. And I don't have the program yet. That's the most interesting thing. I asked them to give me a program with pieces, but they decide on the last moment what they're going to play.
Perfect.
And Erik will present his program to the public himself. So it's one big surprise, but it will be really high level of brass playing, and there's also a percussion player involved. And I think it goes from jazz to contemporary music to all styles. So great.
It's just going to be incredible. We're really looking forward to it. And then all too quickly, on Friday, we're into the 3rd weekend of competition, but this weekend, of course, we have the start of the stadium events with the marching and the show bands.
Absolutely, So we're going to start with the march and show bands in the lower divisions. And here in the Rode Hall and in the theater, we have the focus, of course, on the fanfare bands. I mean, fanfare bands 1st division. We talked about it a little bit earlier. 14 bands for the 1st division, but also the 3rd division wind band, which is also a very international section with a lot of.
We've got 8 bands in there.
8 bands. It's a little bit less than last time, but that's because of the same reason we talked about earlier with the pandemic, and also the lower division bands really had a tough time. And we have the concert division fanfare, and that's on the last Sunday, and that will be as the spectacular performances of the percussion ensembles last week. We will surely have this with the fanfare bands on Sunday.
Incredible. Great week to look forward to.
Absolutely.
I'll ask you how your fatigue is going same time next week, but I'm sure the enthusiasm and adrenaline is going to keep you going.
I think so. We were going with adrenaline, we're going
Fantastic.
100%.
Absolutely. Björn, thanks for taking the time to join us today. See you again same time next week.
Thank you.
Our thanks to Björn, as always, for joining us. I don't know anybody who works so hard during WMC as Björn. He's here, there and everywhere, checking every detail, making sure everything is perfect and doing a stunning job. As he mentioned, we've got the International Conductors Competition coming up. We had our semi-final yesterday, which was thrilling. Our last 6 candidates get whittled down to 3. And in tomorrow's show, we will be giving a full profile of each of our finalists. Now, don't forget that the Conductors Competition final will be live streamed on live.wmc.nl on Wednesday evening, and it is set to be a stunning event. We have got the Marine Band of Holland, one of the top professional army bands in Europe, who are going to be putting these conducting hopefuls through their paces and then giving us the full second half of a concert of their own programme. Promises to be fantastic stuff. And so that's it for today's WMC Daily. We hope you're enjoying these shows, bringing you a little flavour of WMC and Kerkrade. Now, due to the temperatures here today, which are going to be pushing close to 40 degrees, all the outdoor events have been postponed at the Blow Stage and the Festival Village, which you can perfectly understand. As for our crew, we're attempting to stay cool in the coldest place in Kerkrade. It's called Snow World. It's a full indoor skiing and snowboarding centre, and so we're going to be heading off there. If you see us on crutches or limping later on in the week, you'll know exactly the reason why. Until tomorrow's show, goodbye for now.